And the 10-year appreciation?
10-year appreciation rate, 113%. So we bought our house about 2.5 years ago, and it's increased in value roughly 35%, which is an incredible ROI. And that didn't happen by accident.
No.
The 3 most important rules in real estate are location.
Where the returns like that are still possible, stick around. We're getting after it right now.
Hey guys, this is Drew Mims and
Carrie Fletcher
with the Mims Group in Houston, Texas. So Houston is full of great areas to invest in. And today we're going to be talking about the top 9 areas where you have the potential to walk into equity right away.
Hey, and number 1, I would have never guessed it. I'm pretty sure you're going to be surprised when you hear which one it is. So you're going to want to stick around to the end and hear that one. To do this, to measure appreciation, what we did is we took the average sales price for 2022, and then we backed that off. What did the 2-year appreciation look like? What did the 5-year appreciation look like? And then what did the 10-year appreciation look like? So we're going to run through those numbers as we go through each area and give you sort of some highlights of why we think that area has developed and appreciated that way over that time period.
And why we think each one of these areas are good places to live. So number 9 is Rice Military, Washington Corridor.
Yeah.
So we think this is a great place to live. It's very walkable. It's full of restaurants, bars. It's super close. It's literally almost next door to Memorial Park. Mm-hmm. There's just one other small neighborhood in between, which is called Camp Logan. But you can walk to Memorial Park where you can golf, bike, run, walk. There are arboretums there. There's just all kinds of activities. So that's a huge selling point. You'll also have Buffalo Bayou Park in your backyard, which is also very walkable from Rice Military. So if you are an outdoor person or you just like to get out and be able to walk to restaurants and bars,
not just any restaurants and bars. This is really kind of the foodie capital.
I wouldn't call it the foodie capital, but there are a lot of good restaurants.
Okay. Our favorite ones are down there.
No, one of our favorite ones is there.
Go ahead.
Apparently it's like...
Go ahead.
I mean, there isn't anywhere else that we eat regularly in Rice Military. So it's not the Mecca, in my opinion. But Okay. So in Rice Military, you've got a whole range of homes ranging from condos and townhomes. And actually, there's a lot of townhomes. In fact, I would say it's pretty townhome centric.
Well, and there's also a lot of single family homes that are styled like townhomes.
Yes. Right. So we based our numbers on single family homes for all of these neighborhoods to keep it consistent. So in 2022, the average sales price for the single family homes was $578,000 roughly and change, like 578, 543 to be exact.
That surprises me. It's a little bit lower than what I thought, because there's so much new construction and so many nice houses in that area. I would have thought it was higher. But then when you think about it, there's still also a lot of development. So single family homes that are being bought and converted over.
And see, I always think of it as being kind of a cheaper neighborhood. Like that's just my mindset. But watching it grown sort of from such, but watching it transition, over the last 10 years has been, so I think my mindset's a little bit different. So the 2-year appreciation rate was plus 16%. So, which is pretty good, I think, for
especially on average. For
2 years. It's not as good as ours, but it's pretty good. The average sales price 2 years ago in 2020 was $497,000. Now, going back 5 years, the appreciation rate was 19%, with an average sales price of just under $486,000. And then going back 10 years, and this is where it starts to get big, the appreciation rate was 54%.
Wow.
So that's a pretty good return. So the average sales price 10 years ago in Rice Military was $373,000. So that's a big jump, 373 up to 578.5. So
a great return.
Yeah. So if you bought in Rice Military 10 years ago, kudos to you. You are sitting pretty right now.
If you want to know more about Rice Military, we've done some videos previously, and we'll put a link to them.
Yeah, there's a great video that really shows you what it looks like, and you can get a good idea for the look and feel. Yeah.
Memorial Villages. I was really surprised with Memorial Villages. Memorial Villages, since its inception, has been one of the most affluent areas. You thought I was going to say neighborhoods. Areas in and around Houston. Now, Memorial Villages, we'll put a link. We did a deep dive video on Memorial Villages, but specifically, they're independent municipalities just outside of Houston's 610 inner loop, and they kind of straddle that I-10 corridor. Therefore, you're very conveniently located to downtown, to the Galleria, to the Energy Corridor, you name it. And so Memorial Villages in 2022 had an average sales price of just over $2 million, just under 2.1, 2.087. So, you're getting a pretty good return off of a very big base. Now, the appreciation between 2020 and 2022, the last 2 years, was just about 25%, because the average sales price for 2020 was 1.673. Now, what about the 5-year appreciation?
The 5-year was 20%.
Wow. Okay.
So the average sales price back in 2017 was just under 1.743.
Yeah.
So million.
And the 10-year?
10-year was plus 62%.
Whoa.
Which is a really great return, I think, for over 10 years. So the average sales price back in 2012 was 1.29, just under 1.291 million.
So going from 1.29 all the way up to almost 2.1 over a 10-year period.
Yeah, we think that's pretty good. So that's why I came in at number 8. All right.
Hey, look, if you think this information is great for you, if you like this stuff, be sure and hit that subscribe button, ring that bell. That way you're notified every time we put out a new video. And whenever you or anyone you know is getting ready to move here to Houston, you want to work with us. You want to work with somebody who really has done the math, done the homework to put you in a position to succeed. So give us a call, send us a text message, send us an email, any which way you want to reach out to us. We've got your back when moving to Houston. Let's go on to number 7.
So number 7 is MIDTOWN.
And we just did a video on this. It's been really popular.
We did.
Yeah, and we'll put a link to it right here. So if you want to do a deep dive on MIDTOWN.
So MIDTOWN is a really happening area.
Yeah.
You've got a lot of young professionals that live there, but it's pretty, it's diverse. And you've got lots of walkable restaurants, bars. It's an easy commute to downtown. You're still right next door to Montrose, the museum district. You can take the light rail down to watch the Texans play, or see the rodeo, which is coming up here soon. One
of the things that I loved about MIDTOWN when we were doing the research or whenever we were going around there is, unlike Rice Military, where there's these 2 huge parks that you can go to, and you can still access them, but they had a lot of these smaller kind of neighborhood community parks.
Urban parks.
Yeah, urban parks spread throughout. So it made it really easy and convenient, no matter where in MIDTOWN you live, to go and enjoy some outdoor space.
Absolutely. It's also, I forgot to mention, a really easy commute to the Med Center.
Yeah.
So that's another good point. You've got primarily townhomes and single-family homes that look like townhomes. You've got a lot of apartments as well as condominiums. In fact, there are a lot of condominium projects there. For the sake of today's video, we use single family numbers, but just a caveat to let you know that I did run all of the townhome condo numbers, and the averages were really similar. So not a big difference between the townhome average price point and the single family, which is always going to be a little bit more.
So in 2022, we had an average sales price of $479,000. Right?
It's very affordable.
Yeah, very affordable. And over the last 2 years, we had a 9% growth. And so that the average sales price back in 2020 was $440,000-ish. And the 5-year appreciation?
20%.
Wow, that's pretty big.
So the average sales price back in 2017 was just under $399,000.
No. And the 10-year appreciation was a whopping 67%, and because the average sales price was around $286,000.
And I remember those days. I do.
Yeah, I can imagine you would. I can imagine.
So if you bought back in 2012, you're sitting really pretty today, because you've got that 67% increase.
Now, so the next one on our list, number 6, is
one of my most favorite neighborhoods.
The heart of Houston.
The heart of Houston. The one and only Montrose.
Montrose, which is really close to MIDTOWN. Don't they kind of butt up?
It's right next
to each other?
They literally butt up next to each other.
Yeah.
We'll show you here on the map. So Montrose, we did a video on that recently. So if you want to learn more.
I love that video. We must have had 2 hours worth of just B-roll and footage of us just driving around those neighborhoods, checking everything out.
Yeah.
Over there.
So it's very diverse, got a diverse population. It's got kind of a bohemian, arty, artsy fartsy vibe. Lots of great restaurants.
Artsy fartsy. You literally just said artsy fartsy.
That's a thing. It's an old, is that show how old I am?
I guess so.
So you've got a mix of new construction homes and older bungalows. So it's got just an eclectic feel with some modern, like contemporary design homes mixed in. You've just got a real variety. And of course, you've got tons of local shops. What were you going to say?
Well, I was just amazed at the high-end development that's going in Montrose. Like you said, it's always been eclectic. It's always been artsy. But when we started doing a deep dive, a lot of the high-end, high-rise and mixed-use retail, commercial, residential developments that are going in Montrose, it seems to be a place where there's just not enough land to satisfy the need.
Build up.
And it's really growing like crazy.
And the same thing's happening in MIDTOWN, like just to be fair, and in other neighborhoods as well. But
but we're talking about Montrose.
But Montrose, it's happening.
Okay.
So the average sales price in 2022 for single family homes in Montrose was $784,000 and change.
Well, that makes a lot of sense. You sold a house down there in Montrose. It was beautiful. It had nice downtown views. It was
rooftop deck.
Yeah, rooftop deck. It was one of those brick. It looked like a single family home, but it looked like a townhome, but it was a single family home community. And just there off of Cherryhurst Park. I remember that, and that was a beautiful.
Yeah, that was a 4-story. It was really cool. So
Go ahead.
So the 2-year appreciation rate was 8%. The average sales price back in 2020 was $728,000 and change. So it went from $784 to $728. So not super dramatic. 8%, 2 years. You're kind of like, you know. But wait till you see that number grow. Yeah,
so the 5-year was just about 13% appreciation, and the average sales price was just under $700,000 at $695,000 ish 2 years ago, or 5 years ago, sorry. And then 10 years ago, we have a 73% appreciation rate because the average sales price was only about $454,000.
So that's a really great return. So that's why Montrose coming in at number 6 we think is a great place to buy, to walk into equity. All right, number 5.
Number 5, River Oaks. Again, was surprised at this one. Same reason as Memorial Villages, because it's just been so affluent. It seems like it's always been the most, or one of the most expensive neighborhoods in Houston. Can I call it a neighborhood? Or is it an area? Most expensive neighborhoods.
One of the wealthiest.
Houston, wealthiest in Houston. Now, River Oaks has been, we've done a couple of them. Cost of living, pros and cons, and we'll put a link, or you can go to our channel and check them out. Either one, because we did a couple of them. They have been our most popular videos. A lot of people want to know about River Oaks.
So River Oaks is a beautiful neighborhood. It's very affluent, larger lots, large homes. You still have a variety, actually, of sizes. But, you know, some of the most spectacular homes in Houston are in River Oaks. And you've got, like, they do the azalea trail there every year. So if you like flowers, it's quite beautiful.
Christmas lights.
Christmas lights. It's fun to drive through there at Christmas. And it's fun just to drive through there. Kirby Drive actually goes through, cuts right through River Oaks. And so it's a beautiful tree-lined drive. If you're ever in Houston and just want to check it out, we highly encourage you to. And now we're going to talk about the average sales price for 2022.
Yeah, 2022. So the average sales price was $3.824 million, right? And so the 2-year appreciation was just over 20%, which is really good. And it was about 3.18 during
almost 3.187.
Yeah, almost 3.187 back in 2020, and then a
38% increase for the last 5 years. So the average sales price back in 2017 was $2.766 million. And
when did our friends buy their place there in
I think
River
it's
Oaks?
been about 10 years.
So,
and they wound up actually getting a really good deal on a builder foreclosure where the builder went bankrupt, and their house has definitely doubled in value.
Yeah.
So, or close to it.
Right.
So the 10-year appreciation rate for River Oaks, 76%.
Wow. So the average sales price was 2.168. So you had a 76% appreciation as you compare to the prices in 2022.
So River Oaks, still a great place to invest in.
Yeah.
All right, number 4.
Edo. Now, the only thing that surprises me about Edo,
which is east of downtown,
is that it wasn't higher on the list. I would have thought Edo would have come in number 1 because Edo which is east of downtown, is an area that has seen rapid growth and appreciation. There's been investments in the baseball field, the MLS soccer field.
So the Astros play.
Yeah, the Astros.
At Minute Maid Park, which is in downtown, and then you've got the soccer stadium that's actually in Edo.
Yeah.
Tons of restaurants and bars. It's very eclectic, but it was like a warehouse district before.
Yeah. But there's been all this development and investment from the community, from the river parks that have been put in, the public transportation that have been put in, and there's just been a lot of development in that area.
There has. So it's a very hip neighborhood. You've got a super easy commute to downtown. I mean, you could even walk or bike.
Right.
So, and you could take the train to the Med Center. So lots of options there.
Yep.
All right. So the average sales price for 2022?
About $407,000.
So very affordable.
Yep, very affordable. And that's about a 12% increase since 2020, when they were coming in at just under $364,000. And then the last 5 years has been...
You had a 20% appreciation rate. So the average sales price in 2017 was $338,000. Now, if you look at the 10-year appreciation rate, that's where it gets very dramatic. So the 10-year appreciation rate for Edo was 81%. So we're getting closer to that 100% mark. So the average sales price was $225,000 in 2012. And so today you look at that at 407, that's a pretty darn big jump.
Yep. That
neighborhood is also very close to University of Houston. So if you're an investor, like even if you weren't going to buy there and live, if you were going to buy as an investor to have, a rental property, which is a popular thing to do, you are close enough to U of H that you would always have, I think, students.
Between U of H and downtown and the public transportation and the sports venues, either as a short-term rental, those Airbnb types, or as a long-term rental. Either one seems like it'd be a really good fit.
Yeah, because you've got lots of people within the oil and gas industry and other industries that get transferred in and out of Houston every 2 to 3 years. And so a lot of those people, their companies encourage them not to buy just because they know they're going to be moving so much. And so there's a need for that. So that's our little snippet for investors. We'll move on.
Yeah. So number 3 is
West University Place.
West University Place. Now, I know Drew hates this saying, but whenever I was holding an open house there in West U, I had a guy come in and he goes, I always like buying properties in West U because it's like putting money in the bank. Anytime I want to draw it out, I know I can sell and not lose any money. And that phrase, that comment, that sentiment just always kind of stuck with me.
That's true.
Yeah.
So West University Place is, again, it's its own little city within a city. So they've got their own police department, fire department. It's super close to the Med Center, downtown, Galleria, so easy
Rice
commute.
University.
Rice University. You've got zoned to good schools. So it's got a lot going for it. And it's a beautiful neighborhood.
Yeah. Oh, and surprise, we've done a video on West University. We'll put a link in if you want to do a deeper dive on this one.
Check it out.
Yeah.
Okay, so the average sales price in 2022 in West University Place was $1.631 million.
Wow.
And going back 2 years, the appreciation rate was 10%. So, which I think was pretty good. The average sales price in 2020 was $1.488 million. And then going back on the 5-year appreciation rate
is about 23% because the average sales price was $1.33 million. And the 10-year appreciation rate was
84%.
Wow. Okay. And the average sales price was $887,000
in 2012.
Yeah.
So again, big jump from 887,000 on up to 1.631 million.
Yep.
All right, so we're getting close to number one.
Getting close.
All right, so number two is...
Hey, if you notice, most of these areas, if not all of these areas, we've done videos on, we've lived it. So if you or anybody you know are looking to move here in Houston, give us a call, send us a text message, shoot us an email. We'd love to help you on your move here to Houston.
Okay, so number two on the list is our favorite neighborhood. It happens to be where we live. It's Houston Heights, which is a very popular neighborhood. It's very eclectic. It's an older community that a lot of builders have come into, and people have either come in and restored and rehabbed bungalows, or they've torn down and built new homes. But the beauty of the Heights, in my opinion, is that they've kept the look and feel, for the most part, of the original neighborhood.
It's great. I love the hike bike trail. There is a hike bike trail that runs right through the heart of Houston Heights that'll take you all the way down into downtown if you want to, or down into the Bayou Parks.
Got lots of restaurants.
Yeah.
Restaurants, some bars sprinkled in. You've got some walkable shopping streets, like on 19th Street. You've got a lot of great shops and restaurants and fun things to do, theater. So there's lots going on in the Heights, and we absolutely love it. And we told you at the beginning that we've experienced a tremendous appreciation rate. So in 2022, Carrie, what was the average?
The average sales price in 2022 was $846,000.
So that's pretty good. It's gone up a lot since we first started. And of course, there are, million plus homes all over the Heights as well. It's quite common now. Okay, so back in 2020, for the 2-year appreciation rate, the appreciation rate was 19%.
Yeah.
So that's a great and if we look at it, like for us, we had a 35%, but on average it was 19%.
Right.
So again, you can be plus or minus. We just happen to be in an area we're on a street that's still developing.
Yeah. Average sales price back in 2020 was $713,000.
That's pretty good. Pretty good jump.
Houston Heights has a lot of different subset areas. There's Sunset Heights. There's Woodland Place.
Woodland Heights.
There's
Norhill.
Hill. There's Heights proper. So we live in a subset called Sunset Heights, which is still developing. And so you've seen a more rapid growth in this part or this section than maybe in some of the others.
5-year appreciation rate was 39%, which is pretty darn big. And the average sales price back in 2017 was $607,000.
Wow. And of course, the 10-year appreciation was, drum roll, 108%.
108%.
The average sales price back
for 10 years.
Back in 2012.
So more than double your money. In our opinion, this is a great place
it was
to buy.
And
great place to live.
It was just over $406,000, $407,000.
Just near 407.
Yeah. That's crazy. So and this one kind of blew me away. If you stuck around for this long, good on you, because this one is a surprise. Number one
was Oak Forest.
But it was Oak Forest East.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oak Forest East.
Yeah.
So Oak Forest is just outside the 6-town loop, right across from the Heights. So it's like basically next door to the Heights. The thing that separates the Heights from Oak Forest is just the 610 loop.
Right.
So we didn't look at Oak Forest West because that's closer to 290 and on the other side of TC Jester.
And it's also on the other side of the bayou that comes through, White Oak Bayou.
Right, which is kind of the dividing line there. So for today's purpose,
Oak Forest East.
we looked at Oak Forest East, and wowza.
So over the last 2 years, you're talking of a mild appreciation. So the average single-family home in that
12%.
area was 12%, but it went from just under 642,000.
576.
Yep,
576,000, just under.
Yeah.
And the 5-year
5-year on average was
34.5%. So the average sales price 5 years ago was just under 478,000, coming in at 469.
And we forgot to remind them again. We did a deep dive video into this area, and we're going to put a link to it right here.
We did. We love this area. If you're looking for a place that feels like the suburbs, but you're still very close to town and have a super easy commute, either to downtown, Galleria, even the Med Center. I've got clients that commute to the Med Center. Great location for families. Oak Forest Elementary is a great elementary school. So I'll stop plugging Oak Forest.
And the 10-year appreciation?
10-year appreciation rate, 113%. So it's massive return on your investment if you moved there 10 years ago. Yeah. And the average sales price back in 2012 was a mere $300,727.
Now it's easy to see $1 million plus homes throughout that whole area.
And it's a beautiful neighborhood. Yeah. So, well, hey guys, thanks for watching our video today. If you are thinking about moving to Houston or are already in Houston and just want to make a move to one of these areas that we've talked about today or looking to invest, give us a call. We'd love to hear from you. Leave us a comment if you have any questions or comments or anything to contribute. We'd love to hear from you.
And we could not do any of these communities, any of these areas justice in this relatively short film. So go onto our site and do a deep dive and see what makes these places so great. And look, if you found this information useful, don't forget, go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe, ring that bell. We were having a conversation with somebody that called us just the other day and said, man, what can I do to help get your information out there to other people? Because there's so many of these others out there. And we said, hit that like button, hit that subscribe, and hit that and share this with people that might be interested.
Absolutely. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.